You know how sometimes you ban someone and then pretend it's completely about safety, but behind the scenes, you're terrified you're losing your crown. That's basically what happened with Huawei. But here's the thing. The official story is only part of the puzzle. The real reasons. They're messy, strategic, and yes, a little embarrassing if you're a superpower. In this video, we'll walk through the US's Huawei ban, reveal what they really feared, and show you why this matters even if you don't own a Huawei phone. Chapter 1. Setting the stage. Who is Huawei? First, a little context. Huawei started in 1987 as a small telecom shop in China. Over decades, it rose, first selling gear cheaply, then undercutting giants, then innovating. Nowadays, Huawei is a full-stack telecom giant. Phones, base stations, chips, 5G infrastructure. By 2018, Huawei was the number 2 smartphone maker globally. It had a robust R&D arm. It was building 5G systems in dozens of countries, some US allies. This made US policymakers sweat, because if Huawei controls your 5G, they could, so the argument goes, tap your data, spy, turn off your network. Real or not, the fear was potent. Chapter 2. The national security narrative and how it beats the obvious. We often hear, Huawei is banned because of national security. That's the official narrative. It's a nice, clean story. Flip that. What if national security is the cover story for economic and strategic jockeying? Yes, Huawei was accused of backdoors, espionage ties, and suspicion over Chinese state control. But proving those is messy, murky. Meanwhile, cutting Huawei out has the benefit of giving US or allied firms breathing room. It's like saying we ban that competitor for safety, when really you want to corner the market. Mini hook. But wait, if it's just about safety, why did the US grant some exceptions, negotiate waivers, and keep shifting rules? The logic isn't consistent. We'll see that pattern again. Chapter 3. The legal weapons, entity lists, and export controls. Here's where the strategy gets clever or devious, depending on your morals. The US didn't just pass a law saying no Huawei, it put Huawei on the entity list. That means US firms can't export certain technologies to Huawei without government approval. This kind of restriction is surgical. It doesn't sweep globally, it restricts critical parts, chips, software, etc. Then comes secondary sanctions punishing foreign firms that still deal with Huawei. So, it's not just ban Huawei, it's cut off Huawei's access everywhere. Result: Huawei struggles to get advanced semiconductors, software licenses like Android updates, and design tools from US providers. In short, it's not a blunt tool, it's a scalpel. Chapter 4. Why start with the second best argument first? Actually, the second best reason for the ban might be trade war leverage. In 2018-2019, the US and China were embroiled in a tariff war. Huawei was a bargaining chip. By turning up pressure on Huawei, the US gains negotiation ammo. You want trade access. You need to rein in Huawei. It's a diplomatic muscle flex. So the ban is not just tech plus security, it's hybrid diplomacy with a Silicon Valley twist. Chapter 5. The real kingmaker. Fear of losing tech supremacy. And now, the best and scariest reason. The US feared Huawei might take over the future. 5G is not just faster internet. It's the backbone for autonomous cars, smart cities, drone networks, and AI infrastructure. Whoever owns 5G standards and infrastructure will influence the next decade. Huawei was building core 5G tech cheaply, with strong engineering. It was winning contracts globally, even in places like Europe, Latin America, and Africa. If Huawei became the de facto global 5G provider, the US influence in future tech would erode. That scares dominance-driven powers. The Huawei ban is, at its heart, a fight over who rules tomorrow's tech map. Chapter 6. Inconsistencies, contradictions, and hypocrisy. So, if all of that is plausible, where do the contradictions bite you in the face? The US still sells advanced chips to competitors, not branded Huawei. Some US allies with weaker security records are allowed more leniency. The bans shift, rules get loose and or tightened depending on negotiation dynamics. The evidence of backdoors is often classified or not publicly audited. In short, the logic is malleable. This suggests many parts are political theatre. Chapter 7. What it means for consumers and tech ecosystem. You might think, Great, more security, less Chinese spying, hooray. But it's more complicated. Huawei phones became less viable outside China. No Google services. Vulnerability in the supply chain. Component costs rise globally because alternative suppliers must fill gaps. Some countries must choose, align with US tech systems or Chinese ones. That divides the global internet. Innovation could slow. Competition is a driver. Remove a giant competitor, and the race gets duller. Chapter 8. Reversal. Could the US backtrack? Is it permanent? Maybe not. Policy oscillates based on administrations, negotiation needs, or new tech breakthroughs. If Huawei builds enough independent non-US reliant systems, the pressure of bans weakens. Also, if China invests heavily in its own semiconductor ecosystem, the US leverage shrinks. So this war isn't final. It may evolve, pivot, or shift theaters. So there you have it. The US ban on Huawei isn't a simple security move. It's part of a playbook. Regulatory leverage, trade muscle, and a fight for tech supremacy. Yes, national security is real, but it's layered with strategy, politics, and fear of being dethroned. If you've made it this far, thanks. You're not just a viewer, you're someone trying to see behind the gloss. That matters. Drop a comment. What do you think the real motive was? Security, tech rivalry, or something else? If you loved this, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and check out our other episodes. 5G Wars, China's Tech Ambition, and When Data Becomes Power. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and keep unpacking.